Okay, buckle up, friends, because we're gonna talk about RimWorld. I've genuinely never ever had any struggles with gaming addiction or any kind of addiction.
Maji?
Well, except a little doom scrolling at one point. But anyways, RimWorld is something entirely different. I swear it was the only game that I played non-stop all day and I didn't even bother to eat. And we all know how much I love to eat. I hang up on the phone with my partner at 9 a.m. I start the game and then when he calls me at 9 p.m. I'm still at my desk playing the goddamn game. All while telling myself, just one more day, just one more task. What is with this game, man? So today we're gonna talk about the RimWorld addiction. I feel like people joke about RimWorld addiction all the time, but very few people actually talk about why and how dangerous it can be. Let's get into it. Introducing the core design philosophy of RimWorld. RimWorld is one of the rare games that is developed by one person, Tynan Sylvester. The game is built like a story generating machine. It has AI story system, so technically each playthrough is going to be unique and you'll always get hit with surprises and unpredicted situations. Colonists also have insanely relatable personalities. Even their little interactions with each other have depth and meaning. Every little aspect of the game has extremely emergent storytelling. I swear I'm not glossing over the game to promote it or anything. It's a great game, although I haven't played it in a while. Let me give you some examples. This post said, the misogynist men of our colony married the misogynist woman of our colony. Wait, that's actually quite hilarious. Let's look at the comments. This comment said, I normally hate men/women, but I'll make an exception for you. Or, you're not like other men, women. Standing here, I realize you were just like me, trying to make history. Who's to judge the right from wrong? When our guard is down, I think we'll both agree. That's quite funny. The second story, my werewolf rooted a human and gave birth to a horrible skin dog. Oh my god, that is crazy. Okay, the third one. Poor children. Young traveler desire aid. A group of poor children are approaching looking for help. The children are begging for 58 beers. They hope to use the beer. Oh my god. And the next one, a very short story with tragedy and justice. Slaughter missile, death spark, husky bonded, satisfying public execution. Oh my god, so one colony was dead and the husky is also dead, and then there's another colonist that has like satisfaction in public execution. So yep, that is just a little bit examples of how emerging the storytelling aspect in RimWorld can be, and it is amazing. Psychologically speaking, people are more attached to systems that generate narratives than pure mechanics. RimWorld at its core, how the game is designed to trigger players' emotional investment in the aspect of user-generated narratives. So what does emergent storytelling do to our brain, and why is RimWorld so fascinating to play? It triggers apophenia, which is a pattern recognition site in our brain. When interacting with unplanned system and stories, the brain actively connects unrelated events to form its own meaningful narrative. Furthermore, since RimWorld has complex, unpredictable scenarios, it forces our brain to go into problem-solving mode, which is another aspect that makes RimWorld so engaging to play. As we interact and influence the game world, our brains release dopamine, which leads to more heightened engagement and a sense of reward. Tynan definitely knows what he's doing, as he even wrote his own book called Designing Games, which he talks a lot about gaming designs and human psychology. The average man asks, how do I become emotionally detached to my colony? I feel like I care way too much if a colonist dies. Is there a way to stop this? Genuinely though, this is the reason why I felt so emotionally drained when I played RimWorld. It is engaging, yes, but it kind of wears you down. Unlike any other games that I've played. The game rewards you the longer you manage to keep your colony alive, which makes you feel emotionally attached to them. Also, the more attached you are to your colony, the better you understand them and manage them better, if that makes sense. Introducing the core addiction mechanics, the short loops. Daily cycles of the game include morning work, random events, problems, and then resolution. Sounds pretty basic, right? But the thing is, the game constantly asks unfinished tasks. And what does it mean? For example, you're playing the game, you're thinking, let's take a break when they finish building that wall. And then the crops are growing, so you're thinking, maybe let's wait for the crops to grow. And now there's surgery scheduled in 2 hours, so let's wait until it's finished. Caravan needs to go now to rescue that colonist before before the quest is expired. And then the next thing you know, 3 hours later, there's a raid happening soon. The raid ends, you gotta repair the barricades, treat the colonists. The task list just never ends. RimWorld always gives you another unfinished thing, and your brain hates unfinished tasks. There's a psychology phenomenon called Zeigarnik Effect. It is where uncompleted or interrupted tasks are remembered better than completed ones. Let's look at this video.
The Zeigarnik Effect, named after the Russian psychologist who first noticed it, explains that the human brain tends to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. Zeigarnik discovered this phenomenon while observing waiters in a busy restaurant. She noticed that they had a remarkable ability to remember unpaid orders, but once the orders were paid, the details quickly faded from their memory. It's similar to when you were a student in school and could remember names and dates and facts in preparation for a test, but as soon as the test was over, you'd immediately forget all the information.
So basically, people remember unfinished tasks more strongly than completed ones. Have you ever run into this issue with RimWorld that even when you're not playing the game, your brain cannot stop thinking about these unfinished tasks? I remember I was thinking about the game day and night. I think about it when I play it. I think about it when I'm not playing it. Sometimes I even think about it when I'm sleeping. And I couldn't explain why, but now I can at least pinpoint that it's just our brain doing its thing. RimWorld also doesn't have a natural stopping point like most other games I've played, like Terraria, Don't Starve Together, Project Zomboid, Stardew Valley, Minecraft. They all have very natural stopping points where you can say, oh hey, let's survive till the morning and then we pivot. Or let's kill this boss and upgrade this weapon and take a break. RimWorld doesn't have that. That's why it's extremely addictive to a lot of people. I do want to say that most good games will make you keep playing because there's this continuous task list filling up. Like I've been playing Philosphy and I cannot put the game down. It keeps giving you more and more things to do, which isn't entirely bad for a game. However, with RimWorld, it's many aspects combined that makes it extremely addictive, as a lot of people have experienced. One other aspect is RimWorld constantly creates problems just slightly above your ability. I think this is where the game lost me. I started to feel burned out with the constant difficulty increase. The more you progress, the more challenging it gets with the random events and bigger raids. Obviously, this also is what makes the game great and engaging, and it doesn't bore you out, but for me, it was a bit much. Yes, you can adjust the AI storytellers, Cassandra for medium difficulty, Phoebe for easy mode, and Randy for the masochist. You get what I meant. The more you progress, the harder the challenges get. You're just getting settled in, and now there's a heat wave, so you gotta reschedule your colonists. A Blake hits, so now half of your colonists are on bed rest. Mechanoid raids start to come in, so you have to prepare better weapons and kill boxes, etc, etc. No matter if you're in early, mid, or end game, there's this constant tension curve that forces you into a loop of building and then rebuilding, recovering and perhaps recruiting new people and grinding them so they can have better levels, preparing for bigger challenges to come. Your brain is technically always in its problem-solving mode. For a lot of RimWorld players, it's extremely engaging, aka addicting for some people. Another addictive mechanic is the slow exponential progression. In early game, you have wooden huts, very basic weapons, extremely fragile colony. In mid to late game, you start to have power grids, really cool turrets, bionic limbs, drug production, spaceship that leads you into the end game. So the investment grows over time. After 10, 50, or maybe 100 hours, you don't want to stop because you've built something. This is called the sunk cost fallacy. Not to mention the endless amount of content that you can get out of RimWorld from the DLCs and mods. You get many different playthrough ideas, so even if your colony fails to survive mid-game, starting a brand new colony doesn't sound too bad. But then the dark side of that is the grind never stops. Another alarming thing that I want to talk about is gaming addiction seems to be normalized and not taking it seriously as other addictions, in my opinion. For RimWorld community in particular, whenever people genuinely express their addiction problem, there are always people in the comments joking about it. Now, I understand it's a gaming community, not an addiction advice community, but still. For example, this post says, "This game is ruining my life. I normally stay up very late, gaming and watching movies and such. Just enjoy a bit of me time. after the wife and kid have gone to bed, but this game has taken it to the whole new level. 11 p.m. I need to go to bed. Oh, I'll just quickly let my pawns get this corn planted before I clock off. 12 a.m. Okay, seriously, time for bed. Damn it, there's a raid. Let me just. It's so addictive and so easy to deal with the next thing and the next thing. I absolutely love it, but it's ruining my life. Scrolling down the comments, this person says, sounds like you need more go juice, which is drug in the game. But really, he's having real issues with the game and we're joking about it. I get it can be funny, but it also undermines the real danger of addiction. Definitely addicted to this game. I think I enjoy the early game more than the late game as I restart every other month or so. 14,000 plus hours here. That's a crazy amount of hours. I have a lot more impact on the lives of the colonists than my own. I lost my job, not because of RimWorld. Before I found this game, and while this game eats up a lot of my time, I'm no longer laying in bed, depressed, and can function enough to barely go out to the world to apply for other jobs. Yeah, right. How many of us genuinely believe that he lost his job not because of RimWorld? So the addiction issue is so bad in the game that some people even made a mod to limit your playtime. Man, this gets dark. I tried to find this post and I couldn't, but I remember I saw a post sharing his addiction issues with RimWorld, and there were so many people in the comments validating him that RimWorld feels like cocaine to them and it's genuinely pretty scary. This guy says, I think I have an addiction to this game. I bought it 2 days ago and I already have 24 hours in the game. Does the addiction only get worse? The community normalizes the addiction humor so much that it's likely they're proud of it and they want to encourage others to join the same path as them. Yes, it gets worse, much like Luciferium. Only a single dose gets you hooked. Gotta play more or you'll die. And then the OP said, yeah, then just like Luciferium, I'll keep feeding the addiction. Seriously though, it's all fun and games until people actually lose their jobs, lose their relationships from RimWorld. It gets darker and darker. I understand that a lot of the times we gamers use the word addicted very loosely when it comes to playing games we like, but when does it stop being engagement and become real addiction? When you start skipping sleep, playing 10 plus hours straight, ignoring real life responsibilities, missing out on family gatherings, social events, struggle to work, etc. Realistic Water 7174 said, has anyone struggled with addiction to this game? I've always had a problem with self-control and games in general, but I can say with confidence that RimWorld was always the worst for me. Starting when I was 14, it would just be a compulsion. I would just sit for hours and hours and not eat or sleep just playing. I took a break for years and my life improved a lot. Now I'm 19 and my life has gone downhill again, and I can say games are ruining my life. Whenever I become stressed about IRL problems and stuff, I need to just play to ignore them. When I stop playing, the problems are obviously still there and may have gotten worse. The reason I make this post is because I think it's not often talked about, and I'm wondering what is so addictive about the nature of RimWorld. If you look at r/stopgaming, many of the posts are about MMORPGs like League, Never Try, but many also mention RimWorld. I try setting up restrictions in Family View to limit my access, but I always find myself bypassing them. Certain Thoughts said, when I discovered this game back in beta 7 or 8 years ago, I played 130 hours the first month. Keep in mind, I was working full time, so yeah, I hear you. I think I also got 100 plus hours straight, like from the first month of this game. This game is indeed something. Don't worry, I did 288 hours in 1 month while working 40 hours a week. I actually got mentally exhausted after that for a few days. Yep, sounds about right. RimWorld is the only game I had to uninstall because it was actually reverting me into a 15-year-old. It's genuinely dangerous. Never felt like this with any other game. I flat out refuse to reinstall and try to moderate my playtime. It won't work. Yeah, I think when it comes to restrictions to prevent addictions, it works on some people and not others. If you genuinely struggle to self-control, perhaps it's best to stay away from certain games. RimWorld is one of those games that if it ticks certain boxes for you, can sort of break your brain. It provides a very easy and consistent loop of satisfying gameplay, which triggers those wonderful reward centers in your brain. If you have no self-control, it will literally eat your entire day as you lose track of time. Most open-ended strategy games can do this to you. If you're that kind of person, I know I certainly am. Frankly, I have probably ruined my life due to the thousands of hours I've pissed away on RimWorld, EU4, Stellaris, and so on. Set boundaries early and stick to them if you're the kind of person who easily gets addicted to things. By the way, what other games have you played that's done the same thing to you? I see some people mentioning Factorial, Oxygen Not Included, and a few others. I personally played Oxygen Not Included for a while, and I do agree that it can get addictive too, but I don't think it's anywhere near RimWorld in terms of replayability. Reddit Katir Reddit said, too addictive. Semi-serious but kind of joking about needing to curb my addiction. I'm on about 550 hours, which was before I had my baby 3 years ago. Recently, she's going to nursery more, so I have more free time and got sucked back into the new DLCs. RimWorld is so good that I don't want to do housework and all the little jobs for admin that I could catch up on when she's not at home. I'm almost tempted to quit cold turkey or just set a strict daily time limit and stick to it like a grown-up with responsibilities. There are quite a lot of people in the comments kind of enabling him, saying that it's fine and it works best for parents since it has the easy pause feature. Like, dude, I don't think that's an issue since he said he ignores housework responsibilities when he plays the games. Comment says, it was worse than crack for me. First try, it didn't really get me and I put the game down after the first hour. Decided to give a fair go about a month later and then proceeded to put 200 hours in the first 3 weeks. Kids literally said, Dad, you've been playing that game way too much lately. It was a much needed slap in the face to bring me back to reality. So now I'm on a self-prescribed dosage of cracks / RimWorld of no more than 20 hours a week. RimWorld is capable of destroying life and civilization. RimWorld can be extremely dangerous for some players that are more prone to having addiction issue, the endless sandbox, no real stopping point, constant goals, emotional attachment to colonies. I don't think RimWorld is designed to harm players, but its systems are incredibly good at keeping us playing. My final thoughts on this: RimWorld being so addictive doesn't mean that its design is bad. It's extremely effective design, perhaps too effective. RimWorld became so successful because it combines AI-generated storylines, open strategy game, random events, long-term progression, and a very culty following of players. But we're not getting into that today. Perhaps next time. Its every system is so effective that it feeds you into the next loop of things to do, and that's why it's so addictive. So you're definitely not alone if you've ever sat down to play RimWorld for an hour and then suddenly the sun is rising. I do think we should take gaming addiction a little more seriously and have open conversations about it. Gaming should be fun in moderation, and please keep in mind that real relationships should always come above gaming. Take care of your loved ones, take care of your own health, and let me know what your thoughts are on the comments below. Goodbye. See you next time. Bye bye.